Right. So you want to warm it up with this? Find me the equation of the line through those 2 points. First thing we need to find the equation of the line. The slope. We got to find the slope. Slope is rise over run, or subtract the y's over subtract the x's. So if we go 5 minus 7 all over 3 minus negative 2, that would give me negative 2/5 as the slope. Okay? Once we have the slope, we actually have 2 points that the line goes through, and that's going to allow us to use the point slope form. I'm going to use 3 comma 5. So that'd be y minus 5 equals negative 2/5. Actually, here, hold on 1 second. Times the quantity x minus 3. It would also work if we use the negative 2, if we went y minus 7 equals negative 2/5 times the quantity x plus 2. You get the same answer. Okay? So we got that. Now we're going to do a little distribution on the right side. Plus, what would that be? 6. That. Then, if I add 5 to the left, but on the right side, I'm going to add 25/5. Why am I adding 25/5? What? Common denominator, yep, and it's still equal to 5. Yep. It's 5 written with a denominator of 5. So that gives me y then equals negative 2/5 x plus 31/5 as my equation of my line through those 2 points. Okay? We like fractions. We're going to leave them in improper fractions. Okay? Questions on that? Okay. From the last couple of days of class and video, you should now be familiar with the equations, the 2 equations of a hyperbola. First off, the equation for the top one goes left and right because that is x coming first. The bottom equation where y comes first, where the y squared part is before the subtraction sign, that's an up and a down hyperbola. Okay? So we've got those 2 going on there. 7 steps to graphing a hyperbola. First off, we need to find the direction of our curve. So we're going to just look at the equation that's given to us, decide which way, left or right, up or down. Then we're going to find the center. We've been finding the center or the vertex like that since day 1 of this unit, unit 9. Then we're going to build the box around the center. Okay? That's our no-fly zone. And then number 4, we're going to X out. We're going to put the diagonals on there and X out the no-go zone. Okay? At the same time, we'll also find the equations of those diagonals. Then we need to find the 2 vertices. That's going to be also determined from step number 1, determining which way it opens. Okay? Or the direction, I should say. And then we can draw it in. And lastly, we're going to find the full step. Okay? So we got all that stuff going on, which is great. Okay? So let's do this one together here first. Okay? X squared over 49 minus y squared over 24 is equal to 1. First thing we need to do is we need to determine which way the hyperbola opens. Is it a left-right or up-down? Left-right. Why? Because the x squared comes before the subtracted sign. Would you concur? Okay. So this is a left-right opening hyperbola. Okay. Then we need to determine the center. Where is the center of this one? It is at the origin because there's nothing after the x or the y. So the center is going to be at the origin. Okay. Now we need to build the box. Okay? So my A value, what is my A value? 8? 7. So that tells me that I'm going to go left and right 7 from my center. 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. What is my B value? So like 4.9-ish? Okay. But really, it's the square root of 24, which is really 2 times the square root of 6, but we're going to call it 4.9. So 1, 2, 3, 4.9, 1, 2, 3, 4.9. So now we can draw in the box. So we've constructed the box around our center. That is the no-go zone. We know it's the no-go zone because the next thing we have to do is we have to put in our asymptotes. Now we need to come up with the equations for our two asymptotes. One thing that we do know is we do know the slope of both of our asymptotes is plus or minus b over a. So that's going to be plus or minus 2 square roots of 6 over 7. So that's going to be the slope. What are the y-intercepts of our asymptotes? Zero, right? Because the center is at the origin, right? Yeah. So the y-intercepts for both we know. So that means we can go directly to the equations. One of them is going to be positive 2 square roots of 6 over, oops, I almost put over x, over 7 times x. And the other one is going to be negative 2 square roots of 6 over 7 times x. Okay? Next, we need to come up with the vertices. Since it's a left and a right opening, that's going to be the midpoints of the left and the right sides. So that would be at the point negative 7, 0 and 7, comma 0. That then is going to allow us to draw in our hyperbola. And last, we need to find the foci. The equation that we're going to use to find the foci is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So in this case, a squared was 49 and b squared was 24. 49 plus 24 is 69, 73. So c then is the square root of 73. 73 is, I believe, prime number. Sheldon's number from the Big Bang Theory. Okay. So we got the square root of 73 there. Since it is a left and a right opening hyperbola, that means we're going to add and subtract c from the x part of our center. So the two foci are located at 0 plus or minus the square root of 73, comma 0. And again, if you just wrote it as plus or minus the square root of 73, comma 0, that would be fine with me. Square root of 73 is a little bit more than 8. So we have foci right in there. Questions on that? Okay. And that also gives us our 8 pieces of 8. Okay. Graph and center, 2 asymptotes, 2 vertices, 2 foci. Love it. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to do the same thing, but using this particular equation of a hyperbola. Opening. You got up and down because the y squared comes first. Yep. Center. And -2 comma -5. Eric? 5 comma -2.
No, -5.
Now -5 comma -2. One of the 3 is right. What do you got, Brian? -5 comma -2 is the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay. A value. 2. No. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's underneath the x value.
Oh,
Wait, what do you mean?
So it's opposite. So like x comes first. So x would be a. So the square root of 16 is 4. So then 2 would be for b.
So b is 2 then. Yep.
I may not be in class like half the time, but I'm still close enough.
That allows us to build the box.
Dang, I just do this whole thing.
That allows us to draw the asymptotes. slope of the asymptotes is going to be plus and minus b over a. That's 2 over 4. 2 over 4 gets reduced down to 1/2. Okay? So then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do some, so we got some y plus 2 action equals positive 1/2 times x plus 5 action going on there. So that's going to be y plus 2 equals 1/2 times, oops, didn't need that x, that parentheses right there. I needed an x there. X plus 5/2. Going to subtract off 2, which is 4/2. So that's going to give me the equation of my first asymptote is y equals positive 1/2 x plus 1/2. Then I've got to do the same thing, but now 2, I'm going to go with negative 1/2. So that's y plus 2 equals negative 1/2 x minus 5/2. Again, subtracting 2, which is really 4/2, which means my second is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 9/2. Since it's up and down, vertices are at the top and the bottom, which puts my vertices at negative 5, 0, and negative 5, negative 4. That then also allows me to draw it in. And then the only thing left to do is find the foci. C squared is going to be a squared plus b squared, so that's 16 plus 4, which is 20. So c is the square root of 20. The square root of 20 is 2 times the square root of 5. Since we've got an up-down hyperbola, that means we're going to add and subtract this c value to the y part. So the foci are at negative 5, negative 2, plus or minus 2 square roots of 5. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna be honest, I really don't understand the whole asymptote thing. I can do like the math part of it, like I can do the.
Like how we found it?
Yeah, like I'm
Okay. So, do you understand how we got the slopes of them?
Yes.
Okay, one's positive, one's negative. Okay, and then do you understand that both asymptotes go through the center?
Yes.
Okay, so there's your slope, there's your point. We can utilize the point slope form, but we have to do it twice because we have two different slopes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's why. Because we have two different lines, we have to do it 2 different times. It's much the same math, as you can see, because you're really just changing here, you're changing this 1/2 to be negative 1/2. So it's just one little tweak, which just changes really 2 sides. Okay? Because it's always, because the other parts are all going to be the same. So then this part becomes, instead of being positive 1/2, it's negative 1/2 there. And instead of being plus right there, it's minus.
Okay, so when you subtract the 2s and then you subtract the 4/2 and the negative 4/2, so like what are you doing to get 4/2? Like I understand you need the common denominator.
Getting 2 with a common denominator. Okay, so with that being said, you have the front side of the worksheet that you can be working on for today, getting those 6 done. Again, there's not a lot of space to work on that front side of the worksheet, so if you need to do your work on a separate sheet of paper, that's fine with me.